You know, years ago, I was temping. I think I told you guys how I used to temp a whole lot years ago. I would end up at different places and different companies, and I learned a lot. So I got a call to do a stint at a catering company. Now, through this particular agency that I worked with, they usually didn't give you too much details. They told you how long the assignment was going to be for, who you were going to report to as far as the name, to ask for, and what part of the city it was going to be, of course, the location, as well as your duties, what you were expected to do while you were there. So I got myself ready, and I got myself mentally prepared, and I went into the assignment. I went there the next morning, and I met a guy. I don't remember the name of the person I was supposed to report to, but a nice guy, and I was supposed to do some data entry. The office was very unassuming. It wasn't anything ornate or anything that would scream catering, except for the kitchen in the back. So I sat down, I started my data entry, and around lunchtime, the guy asked me, or the person that I reported to, he asked me whether I was hungry, whether I wanted anything to eat. And at that time, I didn't want to be too forward, you know what I mean? I didn't want to do too much, just want to come in and do my job and not come off as needy or greedy or anything like that. So at first I was like, no, I'm kind of okay. And he was like encouraging me, like, no, it's okay. We have a whole kitchen back here. We have a whole bunch of food and this and that. And he starts talking about the company. And he asked me whether I had heard of this, heard of that. I said, yeah, I've heard of, because we're in LA. So basically it's a big, small town and everybody knows everybody. And of course he's dropping names that you would definitely know. I mean, we're talking about famous singers, we're talking about actors and yada, yada, yada. And I said, oh yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of this person. I've seen that. I don't know. He said, well, we did that. And I said, wow, and I was genuinely surprised. Because again, the company itself, as far as the headquarters, it was very unassuming. You would think someone who has catered so many events and dealt with so many highbrow people, it would be more ornate and, more like as soon as you come in, you see the posters or autographed like headshots of people that they've dealt with. And the caterer herself was not there. He was her, I believe, assistant or basically head of the affairs of the business. But the caterer was an older woman. And again, she was well known within the industry for her catering. So he asked me what I would like, and I said, oh, I'll try the chicken salad, yada, yada. When I tell you this was some of the best chicken salad I had ever had in my life, just a little background, I'm not into mayonnaise salads, okay? Now let me explain. As far as mayonnaise salads are concerned, those salads that are made with mayonnaise, like tuna salad and macaroni salad, potato salad, and I just can't do it. But the only thing that I will eat of the mayonnaise persuasion is a chicken salad. Now, I can get down with chicken salad all day long. So, like I said, when I tried it, I did like it. It was delicious. It was everything a chicken salad should be. All I needed was a little croissant to put it on and just be, oh my God, I would have been in heaven. But anyway, it was very good. It was very good. So I took my little lunch and this and that, and then I went back to my duties. And so he gave me a little script as far as what I was supposed to be entering into the database. So he did that earlier, and then I was to continue. He read some of the things, and then he had me read it back, I guess to make sure that I understood what was being inputted. So I did that, and then I came across a word that I wasn't familiar with. So I read it, and I said, I'm not sure of this word. And he said, well, what is it? I said, I think it's crudites. And he very calmly said, no, it's crudites. Do you know what a crudite is? And I hadn't a clue. I knew it was something to do with food, but I did not know. So he began to explain to me calmly, in a non-condescending way, that crudités are basically raw vegetables. When you go somewhere and you see like carrots, like sliced carrots and celery and this and that, and it's put on a plate and has a little dip or whatever, that's basically crudité. He said it was French and he gave me this whole background and yada, yada, yada. I just smiled because like I told y'all, I told y'all that I love to learn. I consider myself like a sponge, whether I'm visually learning about things, through observation, or actively learning through questions and interaction. I love the university of life. I really do. And experience different things. I love to travel. I love to try and eat different things. I am that gal. So when he dropped that little dime on me, I quickly picked it up and I thanked him for it because he could have been nasty about it. He could have been like, oh, you don't know what crudites is? He could have been a real jerk, as a lot of people can be. But he was not that. He was very generous. He was very generous in his knowledge. And not only did he tell me about crudité, but again, he told me about the industry and other things of that sort. Now, it was only for 2 days, my assignment. But I was so smitten by his generosity that I enjoyed my stay while I was there. And like I said, I had another little feather in my cap as far as knowledge, as far as learning a word. And, experiencing a little 6 degrees of separation, if you will. Hobnobbing with somebody who is hobnobbed with such high figures in the entertainment industry. So that was pretty cool. As a person who loves to learn, it's always encouraging and it always feels good to come across somebody who's willing to share and willing to pass that information and that knowledge off to you, because you don't know until you know. You know what I mean? Everybody's been in a spot where they have been ignorant of a certain situation or certain things. You learn certain things so that you can be better. And that learning never stops. You know what I mean? Or at least it shouldn't, because once you stop learning things and wanting to learn things, then you stop growth. And when I say growth, I mean as far as expansion of your surroundings and your, of course, sphere of knowledge. But it not only helps you to expand socially, but also your brain is like a muscle. Technically, it's not a muscle, but it's like a muscle as far as the more you exercise it, the stronger it will get. They tell you that doing certain things and challenging yourself intellectually and mental wise, it can really help to stimulate those neurons that may not have been stimulated before and make you smarter. To be intellectually curious is a good thing. And there's no shame in not knowing, because like I said, not everybody knows everything. It's okay to admit that you don't know. That way you can be open to knowing and to learning. There are a lot of people that don't like to admit when they don't know anything. Now, sometimes you might get shy, like if you're in a classroom, situation, and you don't want to be that one person that just always has their hands up asking a whole bunch of questions. I kind of get that, but at the same time, I'd rather know than not know. That's how I am. So I don't mind asking questions. And I know a lot of people can make you feel bad for not knowing, make fun of you, especially if you're younger, especially if you are in school and, may call you names or look at you funny. Maybe even the teachers may look at you funny like, wow, you don't even know that. I'm like, no, that's why I'm asking the question. What does this mean? Where does this go? Why does this do that? Yada, yada, yada. Contrary to what people will have you believe, asking questions is a sign of intelligence, because you recognize that you don't know what you don't know, and you would be better off knowing than not knowing. There are people that act like that even now as adults, you know what I mean? Try and intimidate you, make you feel bad because you don't know something. But everyone has had a starting point as far as not knowing. Everybody is a babe in the woods at some point in life. So it's okay not to know. And don't let anybody have you feel any different, especially if you're asking questions and trying to get to know what you don't know. So with that being said, be open to knowledge. There's a saying that says ignorance is bliss. Not in all cases. Ignorance is not bliss. Be open to knowledge. Be open to learning. Learn all you can. Read a book. Expose yourself to different people, different cultures, add some feathers to your cap and become a well-rounded person. Learn something. And on the flip side of that, don't be a gatekeeper. A lot of people, they learn stuff and they have certain keys to help you to get along or get to a certain point, or get from point A to point B, but they're stingy. They're very stingy with the knowledge. They don't want you to know anything, and I'm assuming that's out of fear that once you know, then you may do better than them. Or in the case of they've worked so hard to get that knowledge, they figure telling you is like cheating, okay, and giving you the cheat code, which I see nothing wrong with. If you can help somebody along and help them to avoid certain hurdles, complications, and setbacks that you went through to get what you now have or now know, then why not share that knowledge with somebody else? Why not help them along and help them to avoid all that? Why not save them that time and energy? You know how you felt when you went through it. Why not save them that? Yeah, don't be that person. But yeah, it's okay not to know, because not everybody knows everything and you're not going to know everything. But let's not stay in that state of unknowing. Be curious about life. Be curious about the world. You know how they say knowledge is power. Once you know better, you do better. That is all true. Knowledge is power. It opens up keys to a lot of facets of life, gets you through a lot of doors, it makes you a more interesting person overall. And again, being inquisitive and asking questions, that is a sign of intelligence. So don't let anybody tell you anything different, and don't let anybody make you feel that you don't belong or you don't belong in certain spaces just because you don't know certain things. Because you don't know until you know. You don't know until you know. So be that sponge. Learn all you can. Listen, learn, retain the information, and then give back. Redeposit into somebody else. Everybody can be a teacher. Everybody can learn something from you. And believe it or not, people are picking up stuff from you whether you're putting it out or not. Everyone is a teacher, a mentor at some point in life, whether it's actively or passively. Whether you're actively teaching someone, and being involved in interacting with someone, or passively where people just pick up on stuff that you're putting out. They're watching you. And you'd be surprised how many people are watching you. The way you walk, the way you talk, what you're talking about. So I just wanted to come in here and say that little thing that, you don't know until you know. And you may not know everything, but it's good to know something. And whatever you don't know, it's okay to ask questions, because you don't know until you know. And with that, we are going to put a button on it.